And we have some breaking news. We take you now to Jacksonville, Florida, where authorities say a white gunman killed 3 black people in a racist attack on a Dollar General. Officials at Edward Waters University, historically black university there, is speaking now. That's where the gunman was apparently spotted putting on a bulletproof vest just before the rampage. This is the president of that university. Let's listen in.
Some minutes before his murderous rampage. Upon coming to the EW campus, the perpetrator drove into a faculty staff parking area at the rear of the university campus and immediately behind the university library building. Pulled into a parking space where he was observed by a group of EWU students putting on what they described as gloves and some type of tactical armored vest. Almost simultaneous to those student observations, Lieutenant Antonio Bailey of the university's Protective Enterprises Public Safety Team, as a part of his regular and ongoing campus patrol of the area, was summoned actually by students to investigate the presence of the then unidentified individual. According to Lieutenant Bailey, whom you will soon hear from directly, he then began to approach the individual, who by that time was now seated in his vehicle, and where Lieutenant Bailey continued approaching by foot, coming as close to approximately 10 to 15 feet from the vehicle, at which time, upon recognizing the presence of Lieutenant Bailey, the individual immediately fled the university parking lot in his vehicle at a very high rate of speed, jumping the curb and nearly hitting a nearby brick column in the parking lot. Lieutenant Bailey then got into his own public safety vehicle and pursued the individual by car in the attempt to identify the individual and or retrieve the license plate number of the vehicle being driven by the non-authorized campus intruder. Lieutenant Bailey continued his pursuit of the individual around a block of the university campus until the individual left the immediate vicinity of the institution, at which time Lieutenant Bailey then flagged down a uniformed Jacksonville Sheriff's Office officer in his vehicle as the JSO officer was exiting the JSO substation precinct that sits on and is a part of the EWU campus. At that point, Lieutenant Bailey gave a full description to the JSO officer of the unauthorized campus intruder as a white male who was wearing gloves and what appeared to be a tactical armored vest, and who fled the EWU campus at a high rate of speed. We, of course, now know that that individual, motivated by racism, just within a span of a few minutes later, went on a cold-blooded mass shooting spree, taking the lives of 3 innocent members of our Newtown community. And while, again, we as a university community are and will remain forever utterly heartbroken at the senseless loss of these 3 beautiful lives, we at the same time are grateful and appreciative first to God. In consultation with our board chair, Bishop Frank Madison Reed III, earlier this morning, he shared that the protection of EWU and the fact that not a single life was lost and no harm came to any person on the Edward Waters campus was, and in fact is, a God thing. No one but Jesus delivered EWU and African Methodism from another Emmanuel 9 tragedy. And we are thankful to the Holy Spirit that led Lieutenant Bailey into the truth of where to be, when to be there, and what to do in a time of potential great trouble. Truly, in the midst of the crucifixion of 3 innocent lives and families, God gave EWU both a Passover and resurrection miracle. And for that, we are compelled to be exceedingly grateful. Secondly, we must uplift and highlight the advocacy and sense-giving observations and activism of the Edward Waters University student body. Indeed, in this instance, it was the keen self and campus community awareness of the Tiger Scholar students who first observed that this individual was an unwelcomed and unauthorized intruder upon our university campus. And it was the students who first sought to alert our campus safety team in responding and taking the deterring action to remove this uninvited perpetrator from our hallowed university grounds. In the same spirit of historic student activist movements and moments at our sister HBCUs at places like Tougaloo College, North Carolina A&T State University, Shaw University, and Fisk University, all of whom made extraordinary contributions to the civil rights movement, today, as president, I want to honor and recognize the activism and advocacy of the Tiger Scholar students here at Edward Waters University. We have attempted to create a culture of caring amongst our student body that champions the moniker, see something, say something. And our students' acceptance and ingratiation of that culture into their university experience truly saved countless lives. And for that, as president, I am thankful to our dynamic student leaders and student leadership and our collective student body. And now, lastly, but certainly not least, our very embodiment of T'Challa, the EWU version, in this case, of the Black Panther, Lieutenant Antonio Bailey, who through dedicated vigilance protected our HBCU version of Wakanda right here on Kings Road in Jacksonville. You, sir, are nothing short of a hero, and we honor you today. Summarily, given the tragic accounts of what we now know represents the totality of what took place on Saturday afternoon, and not in any way minimizing the abhorrent racist act of violence that wrongfully stripped from this earth 3 innocent lives, we must still thank and recognize the extraordinary efforts of Lieutenant Bailey to thwart what we believe were the original aims of this white supremacist domestic terrorist. That being to come to the state of Florida's first historically Black university and wreak murderous havoc upon our students, faculty, and or staff persons. Lieutenant Bailey, because of your sensitive, humble spirit of care, concern, and committed service to others in and throughout our EWU community, God was able to use you as his vessel to save the lives of the young people who have chosen this sacred, historically Black space to better their lives, the tremendous blessing that is a collegiate education. Your actions are beyond commendable, and they will resonate not just for today, but for generations to come, as one of the lives you helped to save may in time prove to be the life that changes the world to end the endemic history of racial bigotry and racial violence against African Americans that has plagued this nation since its very inception. Lieutenant Bailey, you are our hero. And on behalf of the collective board of trustees, me as president, the entire administration, faculty, staff, students, and alumni of this great and historic university, we thank you from the very bottom of our hearts for your actions on our behalf. Please stand and let's thank Lieutenant Antonio Bailey. Please stand.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.